Hello everybody, my name is Neil Bakiev and I'm your IELTS instructor from New Zealand. If you visit my website, which is ieltstoefl.com, you will be able to use my speaking correction service, which will help you to improve your IELTS speaking score. Alright guys, today we are going to look at an IELTS mock speaking test from YouTube. Our candidate scored just a 5.5 in the speaking section. You might be making some of the same mistakes, which can leave you stuck at that bad score for a long time. In this lesson, I will firstly examine each sentence that he uses. Secondly, I'll offer a revised version showing more sophisticated grammar structures, a richer, more precise vocabulary, and we will try to create stronger coherence and cohesion for a smooth, natural flow. Because these are exactly the qualities IELTS examiners are listening for. Let's dive in and see how we can transform a 5.5 score into a higher band. Now let's just look at this cue card. Talk about an occasion when you lost something. You should say what the occasion was and what you lost it, how you lost it, how you found it, and say how you felt when you got it back. Okay, so we'll be focusing on each aspect of this cue card. Okay, and I will show you his response and I will show you my corrected version. Alright, so here's the first part. What the occasion was and what you lost. Here is his response. He says, the last time I lost something was my keys and I was late for an important Italian course. Now, how can we change it? The last time I lost something was when I misplaced my keys on the day of an important Italian course. Okay, so when we are talking about something that we lost, we usually use this verb misplaced. Okay, so when I misplaced my keys, okay, and then on the day of, it's very important to add this phrase here, on the day of an important Italian course. All right, next, how you lost it. Here is his response. So I was panicked. I searched everywhere. So here is our corrected version. I was running late, and when I realized I couldn't find them, I started to panic. I looked absolutely everywhere, under the sofa, in my bag, even in the fridge, out of desperation. Okay, so here, how you lost it. The examiner wants to know exactly how you lost it and where you tried to find the lost item. Okay, so here he's just describing his feelings and he just says, I searched everywhere, but he doesn't explain exactly where. So here, instead of saying everywhere, we should say I looked absolutely everywhere, and you should give this information. Under the sofa, in my bag, even in the fridge, out of desperation. Okay, and then also here, as you can see, I'm using more complex grammar. I'm using the past continuous tense. I was running late, and then I realized the past simple tense, and then I couldn't find. We need to use the modal verb here, couldn't find, and again started the past simple. Okay, so we need to show different kinds of grammar in our sentences to get a high score. Okay, you can't just use only the past simple. All right, let's move on. How you found it. Okay, here is his response. I don't remember how I lost it, but finally I found it in my pocket. Kind of stupid things that everybody does, and I found it 30 minutes later. Here is my response. To be honest, I still don't know how I lost them, but after about 30 minutes of searching, I discovered they had been in my coat pocket the entire time. It was such a silly mistake, something I think everyone has experienced at some point. Okay, so because the situation is awkward, because the situation is a bit uncomfortable, and you've got to talk about it, try to use this phrase, to be honest. Okay, and also we need to use a more complex grammar here. So for example, here we also, apart from using the past simple tense, we also use the past perfect tense. Okay, so had been, and then also here we are using the present perfect, something I think everyone has experienced at some point. Here is our next part. And say how you felt when you got it back. So that's his response. So I was really late. It was an important day, so when I found it, I felt relieved. I felt really happy, but I was then stressed because I remember that it was this kind of important day. I had an evaluation, an exam, so for me it was really important, and I ran to my course, and yes, I was sorry in front of my teacher, but everything get better then. What can I had for this? I don't know, because when I found it, it was okay. Now here is our corrected version. When I finally found them, I felt incredibly relieved and happy. However, the moment of joy quickly turned into stress again, as I remember that it was an important day. I had an exam as part of the course evaluation. I literally ran to class and of course apologized to my teacher for being late. Fortunately, everything turned out fine in the end. Okay, so here the question is how you felt when you got it back. So the examiner actually wants to understand whether you can describe your feelings correctly. Okay, how you can describe your emotions and feelings. So here I felt incredibly relieved and happy. The moment of joy quickly turned into stress again. Again, we're describing our emotions and feelings, so show this transition. Okay, and then here this part is a bit awkward, and what can I have for this? I don't know, because when I found it, it was okay. It's better to say fortunately everything turned out fine in the end. Okay, so in this case, turned out fine, that basically means everything became fine. All right, and that's his last sentence. He says, it's always happened with me to lose my things, my keys, my books, because I'm kind of not organized people, but now I don't have anything else to add. Here is our corrected version. I tend to lose things quite often. My keys, my books, probably because I'm not the most organized person. But in this case, I was just glad that I found them in time and managed to attend the exam, even if I was a bit late. Instead of saying always happened, okay, it sounds very strong. It's better to say I tend to, which means I usually. Instead of saying I'm kind of not organized, it's better to say because I'm not the most organized person. You could also say because I'm not the most organized person in the world. And here we need to have this linking device, but in this case, which basically means but in this situation, so we're trying to make a very strong connection. But in this case, I was just glad that I found them in time and managed, which means was able to attend the exam even if I was a bit late. So here, try to sound more optimistic. Try to show that you were able to manage your emotions and feelings. You were able to handle the whole situation.